What? Quarterback Keenan Bowman's leaving early to enter the NFL draft?
Smart decision. Get out of this dumpster fire.
Wait, I gotta persuade Keenan into staying by making him a promise? Well, we're not gonna win a conference title, certainly not a national title. Probably could get him drafted higher. Doubtful we'll win any awards. Well, we had Lauren Patterson drafted in the second round. We can do the same thing with Bowman. And he's staying!
Awful decision.
Alright, welcome in everybody to the season preview of Year 4 of Dave Show University Football.
Has it been 4 years already? Because it seems like it, literally.
Who you hear there with all the jokes is Harry Downer. I'm your host and game player, David Johnson.
Don't act like your game playing isn't a joke.
Well, I'll readily admit, we don't take this dynasty too seriously. We're having a good time over here. So let the good times roll. Roll truckers, that is.
My God, what am I still doing here?
As you could tell from our intro, our biggest concern going into the offseason was persuading quarterback Keenan Bowman from skipping his senior season to enter the NFL draft.
Awful decision. I can't believe he's coming back.
I can't say that I completely disagree with you, Harry.
You can't?
No, I'm all about players leaving as soon as possible to get paid.
Aren't you paying him now?
Yeah, but that's all under the table stuff.
Huh?
Oops, I mean, we're paying him with an education. Yeah, that's it.
Way to recover.
And it's working out great for us, too. Bowman comes into the season with a 95 overall rating, 10 points higher than last season.
You're a regular George Whitfield.
Thanks.
Bullshit.
We also retained senior quarterback Chance Graham, who shined in several moments last year.
He'll get his chance when Bowman gets hurt again.
Oh, that's not a nice thing to say.
How about this? Either guy has a chance when you're the one pushing the buttons.
Ha 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 ha. Haven't heard that one before.
I'll be here all year.
Great. Let's move on to the rest of the Year 4 Dave Show roster, starting with the all-senior offensive line. Everybody's graduating after this season.
So the big uglies will really look ugly next year.
Well, nobody ever gets injured in this video game.
Except Bowman.
Right, so the only way the backups will get any experience is if we're blowing somebody out.
And that's not likely to happen.
Anyways, congratulations to guards Ruben Logan and Jasper Pace, who got drafted in the second and third rounds of the NFL draft respectively.
They're free at last.
Also, congratulations are in order to running back Dominic Holloway, who also got drafted in the second round. Replacing him this season will be sophomore Brian Williams, who has one career carry for -2 yards, and true freshman Adrian Williams, no relation, who is one of our 5 4-star recruits. In fact, check this out. Our recruiting class ranked 34th in the nation, 2 spots ahead of Georgia, and 14 spots ahead of Florida State. How do you like them apples?
I think that pissed you off.
Huh, this is great. Totally realistic. I mean, Colorado had the second worst class in the entire nation, right? Who wants to go there? What an awful place. And they were only in the Pac-12 title game a couple years ago. PFD.
I think you've lost your mind.
Anyways, our most experienced running back is senior fullback Darryl Stanford. We couldn't recruit any fullbacks, so Stanford is by far our best option to anchor this position. His overall rating isn't much different than he had at halfback.
Nice analysis.
On to the receivers, and our main cat is senior Seth Horn. He comes into the season as a second-team All-American at kick returner. Who can forget Horn taking it to the house in front of 100,000 plus strong at Tennessee last year? What a thrill!
I don't remember that.
Our number 2 receiver is junior Roman Estes. And of course, he made several acrobatic catches last season. Dude could turn out to be a star.
He isn't exactly Odell Beckham Jr.
Thank goodness. At tight end, we'll sorely miss Kenton Crawford, who didn't get drafted.
Not a surprise.
Okay. We move on with junior Wade Swain. Get used to hearing that name. We like thrown to the tight end.
If your games were user versus user, I guarantee you wouldn't have that option.
Well, they're not.
So phony.
On to the defense.
Is that what you're calling it?
Okay, it's not exactly Saxonville over here, especially since we have all new starters along the defensive line, including true freshman, 4-star recruit Nathan Collins.
Am I supposed to be impressed? Yeah, nice awareness, kid.
He may be as dumb as a rock, but Dave Show isn't exactly Harvard, so we're counting on him to become a darn good pass rusher. Speaking of which, we've got a good one at outside linebacker and senior Gavin Munoz, finally playing at his natural position after filling in the middle the past 2 seasons. And Munoz enters this season as a first-team NCAA All-American.
It's that glitch where user teams in Dynasty modes have the most tackles.
Whatever, filling in the middle this year will be senior Jared Phillips, who comes in with very limited playing time. And on the other side is returning starter senior Jimmy Britton.
Oh wow, all your linebackers are seniors too, just like your O-line. I'd say you'd be rebuilding, but you ain't never been built.
Good one. On to the corners. Returning is senior Ashley Swanson, who led the team last year with 4 interceptions. And on the other side is junior Jared Hines, who had a pick 6 in the Florida game last year.
Nobody could catch up to him. Get it? Catch up, Hines?
Yeah, I've got it. You're on a roll.
Good thing, cause without me, this video's a bore.
Yeah, sure. Great to have you. And I'd be remiss not to mention true freshman and 4-star recruit Joe Chambers, who'll be filling in at slot corner.
Okay, come out and say it. You're a regular Nick Saban at recruiting.
No, there's still room for improvement, but I don't mind tapping myself on the back for this one.
Oh, God.
Senior Corey Weeks returns as the starting free safety.
So you got your new free safety as the third corner, and your third corner as the starting free safety. Okay.
I'll have you know, Corey Weeks is listed as a preseason first-team All-SEC. Trust me, this is what's best.
Trust you? You're 12-24, 1-11 against the top 25. Your ass should be fired.
Okay, nice graphic you got going there. But let's move on. Our new starting strong safety will be junior James Robertson, who comes in with very limited playing time.
Your defense is getting worse every year.
I'm gonna point to that 34th best recruiting class again. And we had some guys transfer here.
What?
Coming home to Florida is troubled free safety Mike Johnson from Iowa State.
Troubled?
Yeah, there's a domestic assault thing we're looking into.
And you're bringing him in here?
Not completely official, but yeah.
Huh. Okay, Urban Meyer.
Thanks for the compliment.
I'm not talking about the coaching part, obviously.
Okay, well, anyways, coming down from Syracuse is defensive tackle Stephen Clark, and he's healthy and ready to go. Coming over from our neighbors at UCF is real-life New Orleans Saints third-round pick, wide receiver Traquan Smith. And rounding out the transfers, coming to us from nearby USF is another defensive tackle, Kevin Bronson. All of these dudes will be sophomores, but unfortunately as transfers, they have to sit out a year, so we'll see them all in year 5.
Even the girl hitter?
Well, we'll see. Rounding out who you'll see in year 4, junior kicker Jason Utley and junior punter Ernie Washington are both slightly better than last year.
Good for them.
Now let's break down our schedule. For the second year in a row and third time in 4 years, and with keeping an SEC tradition of scheduling inferior non-conference opponents, we will open the season with a generic FCS team. This one's called the FCS West Fusion.
And again, I don't think it's premature to put you on upset alert already, especially with what happened last year.
Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. But we're not going to do that Heisman skill level this year.
Oh, is that your strategy?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, yeah. Why just try to get better?
I don't have time for that. Especially with our next game, we're flying all the way across the country to take on Cal.
What?
This is our first Power 5 non-conference opponent, and what better one to have than visiting the FBS campus that's closest to the place I grew up?
Oh, I don't know, Florida State?
We'll get them on here eventually, I promise.
Why not do it now?
Oh, I don't know, Harry. Maybe because we suck?
Yeah, well, that's always going to be the case.
Well, speaking of sucking, our next opponent will come to us from my new hometown of Las Vegas. The UNLV Rebels visit Dave Show.
Oh, God. All the stuff about you living in Vegas and being from California, nobody gives a shit about that.
This is Dave Show University, man. We're gonna make this thing personal.
Oh yeah? Personal, huh? Answer me this. Is this YouTube thing getting you laid?
Anyways, after a bye week, we open up SEC play at home against the 9th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs.
That's an L.
Well, they better take advantage of us while we're down, because remember, we come in with a better recruiting class than they got.
Amazing. You're okay with that?
Hey, this is a video game, not real life, right?
I've been trying to tell you.
Next up, the number 1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide comes to Dave's show.
Truckers are getting rolled in that one.
Last year, it was the Iron Bowl in the BCS National Championship game. And it was kind of funny. Auburn came in on a 2-game losing streak. Bama made sure it was 3, so lucky for us, we welcome in the defending national championships. But we had them on the ropes in Tuscaloosa last year. Remember that, Harry?
Oh yeah, this is a video game.
You're right, and I'm gonna go off on it again. During the coaching carousel this past offseason, Alabama offensive coordinator Lane Kiffin got hired away to replace retiring Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech. Actually, that might make more sense than real life. And then also, Bama's defensive coordinator, current real-life Georgia head coach Kirby Smart, got hired away to Minnesota. Can you believe that?
Say what you want about all that. None of it is as crazy as this Dave Show Truckers concept. Joining the SEC and dressing up like Florida State.
That's not crazy, that's art.
What passes for art?
Back to our schedule. Next up, we make our second trip ever to the Bluegrass State to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. They come into this season making the only head coaching change in the SEC, firing Mark Stoops and bringing in former Oklahoma National Championship winning quarterback and real-life new UCF head coach, Josh Heupel. Next up, we have an unusual mid-season matchup with the Florida Gators, a rivalry we're booking as the Sunshine Smackdown.
How original.
Our second trip ever to Gainesville is preceded by a thrilling last-second field goal win for the Truckers last year in Orlando.
You should call it the Sunshine Stupidity.
Okay, whatever. After another bye week, we welcome in the 20th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers. Surprisingly, head coach Butch Jones kind of has his team rolling.
Is it?
I guess not, really. I mean, we're 0-3 against these guys.
That's just how bad you are. You make Butch Jones look like a genius.
Well, speaking of making mediocrity look great, our next opponent is the SEC's newest member, the Kansas Jayhawks. They kicked our ass 44-17 in a rainstorm last year in Orlando.
Yeah, and if this were anything like real life, you would have been fired right after that one.
Yeah, well, we came back throughout the season and made things interesting here and there.
You were 3-9, coach, and that's all that matters.
You're right, but I'm not gonna fire myself. We stay the course, and after we get back at Kansas, Missouri will be looking to get back at us as they make their first ever trip to Dave's show. Last year, we were ahead 35-7 before they made it interesting late, and they're still upset that we initially replaced them in the SEC before expanding to 16 to get them back in.
And you had no business replacing them. They've had far more success in this conference than you.
Alright, well, we brought them back, so let's see them do it. Next up, an unusual late-season matchup against the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Oh? The Cocks come late?
Yeah, ha ha ha. This is our second trip ever to Columbia, and we're 0-3 against them. And after a rough season, the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, is staying put to try to turn this thing around, despite retiring in the real-life 2015 season. And finally, we once again end the season with Vanderbilt.
The Battle of Doormats. Get it? They're the doors and the truckers use floor mats. And you both suck. And you're 0-3 against them. And all 3 games have been at least a 2-score deficit.
Yeah, that about sums that up. So what, Harry? You got us repeating a 3-9 record with this schedule?
Nah, if you're keeping the skill level at All-American, and your quarterback's pretty good. Vegas has you at 5.5 wins. Since my name is Harry Downer, I'm going to take the under. Y'all go 5-7.
Well, that'll make it extra sweet if we can pull off that 6th win and become bowl eligible for the first time ever. So folks, be sure to subscribe and click that little bell so you don't miss a moment of the action. For Harry Downer, I'm David Johnson. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next show. Roll Truckers!